Pennies Going in Raw is a production of iHeartRadio. The opinions expressed in the following podcast are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security or investment product. It is only intended to provide education and entertainment about the financial industry and the stock market. Enjoy!
On this episode of Pennies Going in Raw, we talk about, is it time to buy the dip? And much more.
You find out life's this game of pennies.
Oh, you guys know we only have a 40% runner. Hello, 40% is a fucking killing.
We've been compliant for too long. It's time we go to war.
I don't have a Roth.
Hugh knows so much about the market that his brain doesn't have enough room for grammar.
Hey, who told me about IDEX? It's going up a shit ton now.
We're up 4%, baby. No way. 4 fucking percent.
You asked the exact same question with 2 words different.
It's like, man, I just got dick whipped for like 20%, and now that f***er's up like 50.
I bet Warren Buffett never did that.
I'm just making this voice memo to call out unusual whales to a fight.
The pennies we need are everywhere around us. Pennies.
Going in Raw.
Featuring Dan, Deity of Dips, and Hugh Honey.
Produced by Vinny.
And Christian.
Let's go, baby.
Welcome back to another Pennies Going in Raw. Today is Wednesday, February the 23rd. We're recording this on 2/22/22. Market after hours, we're seeing SPY up about $2.50 in the after hours after a pretty spooky day for SPY. Hit around 427.8 or so. Lowest it's been in a while, since around about a month ago, and then you saw it again around 5 months ago. But it holds that range pretty well. And in a market driven by headlines, it is kind of important to have those key levels. Are there any that you're worried about? I know you called a certain bottom and it's teetering around there, but what are you thinking on this?
Yeah, no, it actually, so in the I think we're through the price level that I called.
Yeah.
And
I think it actually happened like before we even released the episode. Like it happened, so people were looking at it like, "Are
it
you
dropped
dumb?"
Yeah, exactly.
Did we not pay for the live prices?
The premium version? Yeah. No, so I think we're actually through that level. I will say that my account has had a little bit of a drawdown because, as I said, on dips, I'm positioning for a rip to the upside. So my account has taken a little bit of a hit. I think it's down about 12%. Now, I'm not going to say that it's a loss because, like I said, it's a drawdown. I have a strategy. My strategy is high beta stocks that I'm accumulating on dips. And also, I originally said that I was going to sell rips, and I'm still doing that, but I'm holding a core position. I don't really have that much cash. I'll do intraday plays, and I have hedges. I've been short Piton and Moderna as hedges, but overall, I'm accumulating dips. And if that's how the boy goes down, it's how the boy goes down. But I'm here for it. So that's how I've been playing it. And like I said, the account's down about I think 12 or 15%. And
so would you say you jumped in too early, or is this all just part of the plan?
So I did definitely think that we were going to see bottom earlier, I would say. And now at this point, it's just about, I'm just going to let probably most of the positions work and just continue to do the same plan.
Even though you don't have much cash on hand left.
Yeah, even though I don't have much cash on hand, which y'all know that I enjoy having a lot of cash on hand. So the next rip to the upside, probably close to that 450 mark, is probably when I'll reduce, I'll reduce back down to that 75% in the market, 25% cash. And that'll give me good risk to reward. But right now, I'm comfortable with where I'm at, even if we draw down a little bit more. Although we've been inside a headline-driven market, the state of the macro environment changes every day, which we can go into in a minute. But I really don't see. We'll go into it in a minute, and I'll explain my thesis. But I'm comfortable with where I'm at right now as far as holding my positions. And I know people are calling me fucking nuts for holding positions, and I get it. But my strategy is still a swing trader, and right now I see pretty good risk to reward inside the overall market, especially high beta names, and that's what I'm rolling with. And you know, I have a plan, and I'm gonna respect it. So we will see. But I still do think that this is a buy the dip moment. Now, obviously,
so I think we should keep it posted, like kind of how they do for Scion Capital and or not, whatever it is, for The Big Short. Wherever we're posted. So right now we're minus 12%. And every episode we got to update it until it's plus 487% or whatever it is at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what I'll do. So right now we're down 12%. Okay. Also, I did withdraw some money, so that does do a little something. You know, I did withdraw some money, so that is, you know, that does. So I think technically I'm down 12%, but it looks like 15% because I withdrew money. You know, your boy's got to live somehow, and so we'll see. But I'm excited overall. The one thing that I will say is that you guys know that I hate options. I put a good buck into options last week, and they got smoked. So like about 4% of the account drawdown is because of the options.
You're playing too heavy in options, my son.
I know. I honestly took a beating for it. And that was just having too much bias. And that's why like I just had too much bias, and but that's okay. You know, like I still, I'm you know, I live to see another day. And overall, like I said, I have my Moderna puts as a hedge. I have my Piton short as a hedge. And ideally those work out. I can close them, and then I ride the wave back up.
With your strategy, I find one obvious big risk in there, which is, you know, with the tension and everything. And while some people may say it's priced in, whatever, but I mean, the fact of the matter is if there are true American troops on the ground there, we are going to see some market action that probably won't do your account much favor. So aside from, or could you kind of touch on what headlines you're really worried about and that would make you be like, okay, maybe it's time to take a loss, sell all, or maybe these aren't going to start working. This looks a little worse. Or and besides just a Russia-Ukraine thing, are there any others too?
Yeah, so the first thing that I'll say, I'll take the first question, okay? The first one about if we see troops on the ground. Now, Biden did say that he's backing NATO. Ukraine is not part of NATO. I mean, that's where all of this is part of it. You know, is that Ukraine is not part of, Ukraine wants to become part of NATO. Russia does not want them to. Now, Biden said that that we would back NATO. Okay. Now, that being said, we still are sending resources to Ukraine. Okay. So I personally, and this is just my opinion, but I believe that if Putin continues down this path to a full all out war, that it is parallel to Hitler invading Russia during the dead of winter.
Oh, that's a bold statement.
It's a bold statement. I truly believe. I spent like all weekend doing this. I spent all weekend looking at everything. There is nowhere for him to turn, really, if he goes down this path fully. Now, I expect him to flex his muscles to a degree. And I expect him to push the envelope because this is what he's done before. But I don't think that we go to full scale because truthfully, if we do this, I mean, we lead to probably like a World War III. That's what the board is setting up for if we continue down this path. Agree or disagree? What do you think?
I think it mainly depends on if China decides to invade Taiwan while everyone else is focusing on Russia and Ukraine. If he's like, okay, because it's the same thing. It's big country wants to take over neighboring little country. Russia, Ukraine, China, Taiwan. If they do that, well, then yes, then there's going to be a problem. But if it's just Russia, Ukraine, I think we could solve it without a World War III. But no, I do see there are definitely ways that a World War III could happen out of this.
Yeah. So me personally, and also his personal financial, what am I trying to say? Net worth would be at a great cost here. Germany and the pipeline, who owns, or it's speculated that Putin could be a trillionaire. And his personal net worth is directly tied to Russia's oil market. So I really don't see, because obviously, if you really want to get into it, eventually he would get smoked in a war. I mean, he would. And then on top of that, he would get smoked financially. And again, it's not like he would go broke, but in his own interest, his personal net worth would take a severe beating. And also on top of that, Russia and Ukraine, he said it himself, they basically have the same dialect. Like, there are families. Families.
Yeah, it's kind of like the issue there.
No, but like my point is that like you can't tell me, like, okay, you can't tell me that all Russian citizens and all Ukraine citizens want to go to war when they have family on. So like my whole point is that
Ukraine does not want to go to war, and like
no, but I'm saying like I truly believe that this would be the downfall of Putin if he continued down this path, because I don't see anywhere. I don't see how he possibly can come out on top in any way. His personal net worth, Russia. Like, I mean, I really just don't see it. Not in this modern age and era.
But even if, I mean, just from like, let's go to just a market standpoint though, even though it's, it would, let's say it wouldn't be a big war. Like, let's say this is solved in a matter of months, because Russia is a big fucking, big fucking country. It's not like some small, it's not Haiti,
Yeah.
So let's say that's still going to do something to the fuck. Your swings aren't going to work for those 2 months, more than likely. I mean, they're
okay. Okay.
Maybe
Wait.
Do we start loading war stocks now as our hedge for war?
No.
Come on. Our hedge.
No. Listen. The other thing. Okay. Listen. Two things. One, I'm
Load
seeing
DGLY.
ridiculous oil price targets. Like Trump saying oil going to 200, in my opinion, is impossible. It doesn't, I don't see a world where that happens. Okay. The other thing is that I'm seeing and the other thing is that all of this, like, the other thing is that we have to look at the war stocks. LMT, okay, would be flying. If we truly were going to war, LMT would have been accumulated and would be flying.
No, that would mean there's insider trading in the government. So,
and okay, all right, funny. And LMT is only up like 4% inside the past 2 weeks. Okay, it would be fucking flying. Now, the other thing that I want to bring up, because this goes to your point about when you were talking about the Russian troops on the ground and stuff.
No, American troops on the ground. This would be
American troops on the ground. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay. Bullind Baird on Twitter. All right, Michael Antonelli.
The Barons are banned, right? That's a start.
Yeah, exactly. He brought up a really good point, and I like this. Okay, so he said, since this is he tweeted this at 2:30 today. Since I'm a huge history buff, here was the SPX drawdown during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Okay, if you're not a big history person, the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Tell us what the Cuban Missile Crisis was.
Well, okay, here for all our YouTube homies. Here's America. Here's Cuba, and the homies in Cuba took their little guns and pointed them at the boys, us being the boys. Now, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, SPX saw a 6% pullback. 6%. Like, that's the closest that anybody's gotten to like, yo, I'm gonna say what's up to the homies, because it's not like Russia's on the other side of the world. Okay, Russia's not gonna send fucking tanks to American soil. Cuba was 90 miles off of Florida and pointing weapons at us, and we were only down 6%.
Yeah, but how much? You're saying the market was only down 6%?
That's all it saw. There was literally a pullback.
Yeah, but,
and if you,
but look how,
I'm not
look
done.
how,
No,
that was the 60s.
No.
You had to fucking, you had to like call your broker.
Off.
Now you just sell all your shit.
Okay, well, this goes to my next point. Okay? This goes to my next point, which the next thing that everybody's worried about is the fucking Fed and these hikes. Okay? Right? Like those are the two big issues right now. Right?
I think inflation and human trafficking are also big. But yeah. I mean,
okay. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. All right? The Fed is saying that they're going to turn around their little balance sheet, buying up everything. All right? That's what they're saying. That eventually they're going to have to. Again, for all our simple econ people, the Fed acts as a balancing act. Weak economy, Fed injects. Strong economy, Fed balances out by reducing. This is really important to understand, obviously. And this is the one thing that I will continue to say. If you look at the Fed's balance sheet, it continuously makes new highs. They're not slowing down. Therefore, if they were to just slow down, it would send us into a spiraling recession immediately.
Damn,
immediately.
You should probably be worried about that, Mr. No Cash on Hand.
I'm just saying that it is like, and maybe I'm wrong, but this would be equivalent to, let me think of a good analogy. Time out.
Some event that happened before you were born, right?
No. This would be equivalent to a girl saying to Dan, I love you. Make a little deity with me. Yeah. Make a little deity with me. And then they go home. She gets to the door and says, I'm in Texas, with a stunned look on her face. That's the equivalent of what this is. You can't, it's like,
what? Why would she not wear?
Okay, here's another one. This would be equivalent to like sticking the tip in and then being like, I don't like girls anymore. Like that, or I don't like girls, period. Like,
okay, maybe that was a really bad 1 second experience.
No, that's like a 0 to 100. It can't work like that. In my opinion, it can't work like that. So this big nonsense about the headline-driven market from the fucking Russia nonsense, like, yeah, okay, fine, we see a small drawdown. The market's not going to crash 50% because Ukraine and Russia are having a spat. That's what this is. It's a spat. And the other thing is that the Fed is going 2 billion miles an hour right now buying, okay, keeping the market up. If they turn around and stop, what are they going to do? The house of cards comes down and we go into a recession. The Fed is a balancing act. They know they can't do that. They fucked up by zooming us 100%, which is why we saw that V correction instantly back in March. Is this 2 Marches ago? Holy shit. That's crazy. Okay. And then they kept their foot on the pedal all the way through.
Pedal to the metal, baby.
Pedal to the metal, baby. That is why we're seeing what we're seeing. And now they need to correct it. But it's one of those things where you can't just like turn it off. Okay, we injected more money in 20 months than we have the entire length of the market. Think about that. The history of the market, we have injected double that in 20 months. That's like 2%.
Yeah, dude, we were fucking handing out 1,200 buckaroonies last year for funds, man.
I understand that. I'm just saying that between these two things, like the overreacting to headlines, okay? You see 100-point move on a headline about what somebody said. And the other thing is that they're all conflicting statements. Like, it's not, like, most of the statements that we're moving 100 points on are conflicting. So, in my opinion, all of that jargon, all of that is just accumulation on the bottom. Okay? I think it's one of these things where, everybody's worried about the Fed. Everybody's worried about war. And then all of a sudden, we see a big snapback. And who gets bagged? Retail. So, I'm accumulating this. Now, if something changes and all of a sudden Biden holds a presser that Dano's getting drafted, I can't get drafted. Got a heart disease.
I know. Foot thing. Leg thing.
Leg thing. All right. Well, we're not getting drafted. All right. If Vinny and Christian are going to get drafted, I guess
Vinny can't get drafted.
Vinny
like
can't.
The military. Yeah, no, he's like part of the armed forces.
If they're going to stick a M4 in Christian's little arms, then I'll start rethinking it.
If something goes awry and Christian's on the front lines, we are fucked.
Then I'll start rethinking it. But right now, I think that this is a big peen contest, big peen measuring contest, and everybody's going to flex their muscles, and I think that it gets over with. And that's just the sad truth. Like, nobody wants war. Like, war's not good for anybody. And I think that right now it's just a pissing contest. And if Putin is as smart as I think he is, because say what you want about him, okay, about the things that he has done, he is an extremely smart person. Similar to, I think it was there was an NFL player recently that was asked, who's 3 people that you would want to have dinner with? And it was like Obama, Oprah Winfrey and Hitler. Okay, and he got a lot of shit for it.
Christ.
Yeah, and he got a lot of shit for it.
Yeah, probably.
And the one thing
fucking so.
Yeah, but the thing is that he was like, listen, I don't want to meet Hitler, but I want to peep inside his mind because it's
how are you gonna have dinner without meeting him?
Wild. But that's my point.
That's that's the CTE talking.
I can't. But so my point is that if I think that Putin is as smart as he is, and I know I'm going to get some hate for this, and I totally understand, then I truly believe that this leads to his downfall, and I don't see how he doesn't see that unless he believes this godlike complex that he can do no wrong, which he might.
I need a English-speaking Russian listener that is pro-Russia, and then one that's pro-Ukraine being independent, and then we need to have them duke it out, and we'll just settle this here.
I don't understand why we all just can't play a game of checkers, to decide what's going on.
Because that's why we spend a fuck ton on our military and no one invades us.
That's true. Because
Donald Trump, cool guy and all, but would I trust him in a game of checkers against Kim Jong-un? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. So from a geopolitical standpoint, my thesis stays the same. Now, again, everybody that called me a dumbass for buying the dip, currently you are correct, and you may continue to be correct. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I'm down 12%. I'm not gonna. I told you guys I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. I think that's why you guys like this podcast. Is that because we're not just fucking around? And so currently you are right. That being said, my thesis still remains intact that we see all-time highs sooner rather than later. I'm going to stop saying we will see all-time highs before we see something else because so far that hasn't worked. So I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to continue to accumulate dips.
You're just getting a lot vaguer every time. You're like, sooner rather than later. Now, all-time highs will probably...
by the time I have a kid... By the time I'm in a nursing home, just gonna keep moving it back.
I will see SPY 500 one day.
I will. Reverse split doesn't matter. Do it.
No,
forward split, whatever. So that's on that front. And listen, I don't want to I totally don't want to, downplay any situations. I'm just looking at it purely from an economical standpoint.
You've already showed support for Stalin. I mean, not Stalin, Putin. Yeah, that's a little rough.
I didn't get the hell out of here. Listen. I totally don't want to offend anybody.
Sorry, dude,
I'm
you just want to
truly
pay for his
looking at it from
dinners or whatever you'd say.
Oh my God, get the hell out of here.
Okay, dude, I'm just saying, if I had a dinner choice, I'm probably picking Drake over you picking Hitler and Stalin and shit, dude.
I wouldn't pick. Okay, listen.
Your favorite NFL player? My bad.
Listen, I would pick. Who would you pick actually if you could do dinner with 3 people?
It's like dinner, like the question, dinner with Jay-Z or $500,000. Like, give me $500,000. I do not care how the fuck Jay-Z wrote H to the Izzo. No, I don't care. So my 3 people, Kanye West, pre-fucking crazy. Can they be dead?
Yeah.
Okay. Jesse Robinson. Okay, one more. Shit, this one's hard because I have the people that motivate me, but then also who I'd want to eat dinner with. Someone I'd have to say Drake. So 2 rappers and the first black professional baseball player. I love the movie 42. Great fucking film.
I think I watched it on the plane once. I think I remember. I think it was a good movie. I guess my 3 would be. I would love. Oh, there's so many, honestly.
They're all going to be economists. Warren Buffett.
Yeah. I'd probably have it with. Honestly, I feel like I know Buffett pretty well. I've studied him honestly well enough. I feel like to kind of. I think I've studied him well enough that that I wouldn't need to. I think really
Mark
dinner with
Cuban
him
would be a cool one.
Mark Cuban would be cool. Jim Simons. You know who Jim Simons is?
That's the judge on American Idol.
What do you call it? He started Renaissance Technology. I would love to pick his brain. Ray Dalio. Even though Ray I think is a little nutso.
That's Charlie D'Amelio's sister.
yeah. Honestly, I didn't even know them for so long until they were millions of followers.
Yeah. I didn't either.
And then I think 17. The last one. Yeah. And then the last one I think would be there's so many, honestly. Probably Abe Lincoln.
For fucking what?
Abe Linsky.
For what? Literally, he was Galveston away from being the worst president ever and accidentally losing half the country.
Listen,
it paid off, right? But
I just want to see, I enjoy looking at people's perspectives. I mean, I like entering people's minds from their perspectives. Does that make sense?
So
I would never want
Abe Lincoln.
What?
So what are you asking Abe?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I would come prepared. I would just want to ask him. I would have to dissect all of his decisions and then ask him why he did those.
How scary was making this decision?
Yeah, exactly. And why would you choose this when the logical answer was this? You know what I mean?
Well,
does that make sense?
Yeah, I got. Well, the logical answer was no slaves, which he chose.
No, oh my God, I meant I just mean on a regular standard. I would want to dissect his smallest details and look into it. And honestly, yeah, I don't know. There's so many for me, but definitely Simons and definitely Dalio. Lock those 2 in.
Okay, final answer.
Yes.
Because when it goes to motivation, people that do our job really, like Joe Rogan and I don't even know if I can say him anymore. He's canceled. Sean Evans off Hot Ones, but yeah, dude, we can discuss it later. There's some comedians too. All right, well, kind of going down. So you're saying it's time to buy the dip, and you're saying
I'm not saying
Well, you're saying in your opinion, it looks like the bottom is almost in, and it is at a point where you are comfortable losing whatever, blah 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 blah. You know, you're willing to let them work instead of selling them for a loss at this point. And this isn't a point of desperation and bag holding. This is you trusting a plan.
I know that a lot of funds, especially, they like to go sector specific. The way that I handle, handicap is I handle it by in this situation, high beta names with good fundamentals, and ones that I see like, using key levels that have the most upside. So I'll study them to a point to where it's like, are they weak? Are they weak when the market's strong? Are they strong when the market's weak? Stuff like that. And then I balance them accordingly. And so, for instance, Moderna and Piton, they follow the market, but they tend to still even be weak during a strong market, especially if they're, above like certain key levels. So that's why I enjoy, using them as a hedge. The next one would be, I'm honestly like just the S&P 500. Like that's what I've been mostly focusing on for buying the dip is S&P 500 names, and that's really where I've been.
Hey, big bro, you fuck with the VIX?
Yeah. So I actually said on Tuesday on my Instagram, every day recently I've been releasing like my thoughts in the morning on Instagram for the day ahead, just for fun. And one of the things I said was that I'm not a buyer of the VIX over 30. One of the reasons, and this is probably a little too deep for the podcast, but when you get into volatility melt,
get into that deep shit. Get into the deep shit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we could be here forever.
It.
But the volatility melt is incredible.
Your ass better be recording.
Yeah, I am. But the thing is that volatility melt, like when you truly look at it, the market is basically overvalued by like 95%, no matter where we are. Like the market is just extremely overvalued. And the reason that this is that, and Kathy Woods touched on this last week on CNBC, is that companies do buybacks to boost their earnings per share. And then with good earnings per share, they're able to do buybacks, and they're able to do buybacks because of low volatility, and they're able to do there's low volatility because of buybacks and because of high earnings per share. So it's just like one big revolving door where, if you look at everything, if you look at like the S&P 500, I think there's a stat out there that, and I'll have to look it up exactly, but it's something like 70% of the gains of the S&P 500 made during 2009 to 2019, 70% of them were made because of buybacks, like strictly because of buybacks. That's wild. You know what I mean? So that basically means that even us using the regular fundamental analysis, which I love, it's basically saying that it doesn't matter, that we've basically cheat coded our way all the way up here. It's wild.
May have to get into the deep shit. Well, fucking buybacks, dude. What you want me to do about it? You want me to call someone? I mean, I'll get on the phone, man.
All I'm saying is that it just goes back to what we talk about all the time. The market is a game, and
rigged to the long side.
Rigged to the long
precedes, price action.
Yeah. And that's all I got. What else we got? Or are we done?
We have one more topic, which is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin right now, I will look up the price as we record. It is currently at 38,100, about on the dot, down 0.4% today. What are you thinking? I know you were saying that 30, 35 levels where you want to buy. Is it soon enough right now?
No, I changed my mind. Lower.
Oh boy. Not ready.
I don't think we've seen max pain. Like there's still too much. There's still too much.
I want to see how it handles that 35 level.
Yeah. There's still too much optimism, honestly. there's just too much optimism inside Bitcoin right now. Like I need the homies to panic. You know what I mean? Like I need the boys to like start to worry. You know, like the boys that like when you're out at a bar and you get the little notification that Bitcoin's down 10%, they're like, fuck it, buy the dip, baby. You know, like those are the boys that I need to like start to panic. And the thing is that like Bitcoin's obviously created such a big marketing cult that it might take some more Max Payne to do that, or it might go back up. I don't know, but at these current levels, I'm not a buyer. It's got to come lower. I do think, however, though, that Bitcoin will see. I'm gonna go bold. Bitcoin will see 80,000 within the year 2022.
That is bold.
Yeah, I like it. That's all I got.
Bold predictions today, but bold prediction episode today. That may have to be the name of the episode. If people are going to be fucking quoting this one for a while.
Honestly, this one I really put my balls on the table.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared, honestly.
Well, and in other news, and
yeah,
this kind of stinks. Okay, well, I'll go over this, and you already know what it's going to be about. One of our listeners, Bernard Wazerstein, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, was one of our oldest listeners. Just turned 85 a few months ago, and sadly, his family tweeted yesterday, Bernard has passed away from natural causes at the age of 85. Thank you to everyone in the community who gave him something to enjoy, and especially to PGR Pod, for which he wouldn't miss for anything else. Super sad is... He was a big part of the community. Really, just looking at the comments, he really helped a lot of people, gave out a lot of good advice, and we got someone watching over us as we trade now. So rest in peace and prayers to the Wazersteins, and we will miss you, Bernard. So we hope you all have a great rest of your trading week, and you all stay green. We love you all. Stay safe, stay healthy, and take care.
Yeah, the one thing that I'll add is that the one thing that really stuck with me back in October was when he tweeted that his grandson and his granddaughter opened up Roth IRAs. He got them to open up Roth IRAs. That was a really cool moment for me because it felt like we were impacting, as a community, we were impacting something much deeper. And so that was cool. He will be missed. Have a great day, guys.
Pennies Going in Raw is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.